I'm starting a new metal project.
Say farewell to flesh, say farewell in the end of life. Your cover of skin is denied. Farewell to flesh, say farewell in the end, my friend. It's time to make your own descent.
Yeah, I'm starting a new solo project called Farewell to Flesh. It is themed around horror and metal. So yeah, check it out, link in the description or in the iCard, and I hope I don't have to flip myself. But yeah, that's the short version. If you want the long version, strap on, this is gonna take a while. First of all, I just got home a week ago from vacation to the States and I had a good time. I went to Chicago, I saw the Bean, I went to the alley, I saw tall buildings, I ate a thick-ass pizza, hanging out with the love of my life, went to the zoo, had a more good time, and did some other stuff. Maybe I'll tell you about it. But anyway, this isn't a vacation vlog, it's an announcement video, so already getting hot in here. Oh, it landed in a chip hole. My hat is now flavored like paprika chips. Also sorry if I sound a little bit nasally, cause right after I recovered from a jet lag, I had to recover from a cold, so thank you, Norwegian weather. Anyway, again, this is gonna require some context, and you see how long this video is, so bear with me. So after with Necronomicon, when I finished the first album and the EP and became a band, I thought to myself if I should maybe start another side project. But I actually couldn't decide what genre it was going to be. For those that don't know, the Pagefire tutorials aren't just there to make silly videos and make fun of obscure music culture. It was also to see what genre I would be most comfortable in. And that's why Necronomicon exists, because making those creatures for Nintendo Core was the most fun I've ever had. Also, blending guitars with synths made it a really fun challenge, and now that's why it's a band. Just to clarify, I'm not leaving Necronomicon. I kinda explained that a bit poorly, which is why I'm filming like this now. The other reason I want to do another solo project is because Necronomicon is now being managed by like 5 different people, so I have extra time to do other stuff on the side. Like we're currently working on our next album, so there's a lot of dead air where I'm not doing much, so I have a lot of time to work on other music. This will also not affect Pagefire at all, and I think you should already get used to there being like maybe 3 videos a year. So while we were working on Choose Your Fighter, I decided to do something extra on the side. So looking at my Pagefire catalog, I was like, what would be the most sense to turn into a side project? So my first thought was murder folk, the genre. The reason I also chose Murderfall was because I wanted to do a genre that I could sing. So I started to write a couple of songs that were acoustic focused, where I could be the singer and I wouldn't have to rely on other people. So it's gonna be a pure solo project, meaning that it's me and only me. So while the apocalypse, as I call it, was happening, I decided to park the band name Farewell to Flesh on DistroKid. The song name comes from the Candyman movie and not from a song from a band that decided to use AI, cause what the fuck was happening there? But I also thought the name would be very fun for a horror-themed project. I could do something similar to Harley Poe or Amigo the Devil, and easily juggle if I want the song to be serious or comedic. I'm doing a lot of this, eventually it'll become the Macarena, which I forgot how to do. But also to fully promote it on TikTok, because I've learned that TikTok loves horror-themed singer-songwriter stuff, and I thought, hey, maybe I can throw my hat in the ring. I know I just threw my hat, so repeat that. So I worked on a couple of songs, and the one I was most proud of was Waiting for Death. Like, I was really proud of the lyrics, I was really proud of the production with the blending of the drums and the acoustic guitar, lifting everything with a little bit of piano and strings. And after I've done recording it and hiring someone to mix it, I threw it into the wild. One problem.
I know my time will come, but there's no need to prepare. I'm marching
I
to a
can't
song,
fucking
so
sing. Like when I wanted to promote it or show it to people, I would like listen to it again and just shiver. Which is why it actually has been on Spotify for years and I never bothered to promote it because I was really embarrassed by my own voice. Now you're probably thinking, but you have sung on Pagefire before and you sound fine. And I'm like, yeah, but those were more silly voices and I didn't want to do those silly kind of voices for a project I wanted to take somewhat serious. It was just really hard to listen to. Now you're also probably thinking, why not start a comedy side project if you can only do silly voices like this one? First of all, that's what Pagefire is for. It was also kind of a test to see what my voice would fit in certain genres, like the examples I just showed. Now I could have done the same kind of singing voice I did for the song Deviant, but that kind of singing voice, the fake southern voice, isn't really fun, especially when I want to take some songs serious. So because of that, I have a hard time listening to it, even though other people have not, and that song somehow has 1 million streams on Spotify. I did also consider doing either an industrial metal side project or a slam side project, but that slam side project would just be cozy posy again. Because on industrial metal, I just have to filter my voice, and on slam, I kinda figured out a vocal technique to use, which is why you hear my voice at the end of the death metal song. I have worked on demos for both the industrial metal idea and for Cozy Posy, but I don't think I have enough to properly start them. And also there's a specific reason on why I want to do this horror metal project. And I know I should get some singing training and maybe work up to it so I could be more comfortable singing, but at the same time I live in an apartment, and even though I'm comfortable playing super loud metal, and I haven't had any complaints yet, but for some reason I think if I started singing, then they would start complaining, and that's what worries me the most. Now, this is probably a common fear that a lot of people have, but funny enough, when we record screams and growls for these Pagefire videos, 0 complaints. So my neighbor fear is definitely irrational, but it's also kind of a mental block. So this project was put on the shelf, and I decided to focus more on Pagefire and Economicon. And any other side project where I could sing myself, they would probably never see the light of day. But meanwhile on the side, for Necronomicon, I've been working on something called the Nightmare album. It's an album that's inspired by horror games, but also my personal demons. These songs end up being way too personal for me, and I didn't know if I wanted to put it on Necronomicon. I also accepted that I'm not only picky, but also a control freak. And I know with this album, I kind of want it to be exactly how I imagined it. And I don't know if I want to bring that level of control to the band, because Necronomicon is slowly evolving to just being for fun. I don't know if I want to be like super controlly about everything, even though I already kind of am. So I'm kind of learning to be a bit more loose and to let go and make the band a lot more fun. So I told myself in 2025 that I was going to put the album on a separate project. But also because the Nightmare album wasn't really Necronomicon-y, it didn't have a lot of loopy synths or chiptune elements. It was more orchestral and a bit more guitar focused. But also as I was playing with the Nightmare album, the idea came of starting a project that was less synth electronic focused and more guitar and metal focused, where the synths and the orchestral elements are more of an uplift and not like in the way. But as I was thinking about a band name, I realized, oh wait, I already maxed out my distro kit. Because I'm currently paying for 5 slots, and if I want 1 more, I have to pay for 5. Meaning I will use up 1 and I have 4 available that I don't know what to do with. And I don't know if I want to start 4 other solo projects right now. If you're wondering, I got Ravenwing, Cozy Posy, Andri from Pagefire, now Pagefire, Necronomicon, and Farewell to Flesh. So I said fuck it and removed the murder folk songs, and now it's a horror metal project. Thankfully, the name was very fitting for either murder folk or horror metal. Now, I did have other band names in mind, because when you name yourself after a popular song, that means when people search for you, they're going to find the song first, so they're gonna have to do a little bit of digging, or you're gonna hope the algorithm pushes you a bit further eventually. And there was another part of me that didn't want to be associated with that band, especially when we're both horror metal related. Well, not anymore, but still. Now, if it does bite me in the ass, I might think about changing it. I'm gonna stand my ground on the band name unless something happens, like, I don't know, Ice9 Kills storms the Capitol, but I doubt that happens. But as I was working on the Nightmare album, I later realized that maybe I shouldn't have an album that's emotionally taxing as my first release. So I started to write a couple of songs that I could quickly release into an EP, and that's where Farewell to Flesh, the song, comes from. I decided to make an album because just like Black Sabbath, that has a song Black Sabbath on the album Black Sabbath, I wanted to be part of that meme. Because there is a little bit of a trend of a band naming a song after themselves on an album named after themselves, so I wanted to join that crowd. And I also really regret not doing that on Necronomicon, so I'm redeeming myself. I was also originally planning on having multiple vocalists on this album, just like a horror-themed Avantasia. Only problem is that Kylie, who did the vocals on the first Necronomicon album, is really good. But also I kind of wrote the Nightmare album for Kylie's voice before Necronomicon became a band, so I thought it was very fitting to bring Kylie back for album 1 and 2. So yeah, don't be surprised when you hear like 2 other voices on its album, but they did a really good job with the songs I provided them. But I also want to try the same thing I did with Necronomicon, where it was not just Nintendo core, it was different genres of metal mixed with bleeps and bloops. Farewell to Flesh will also experiment with different genres, but will always have its focus on heavy guitars, orchestral elements, and horror themes. Just give it a bit of variety and see what sticks to the wall and smells funny. Like the first song for me is straight up melodic death metal with some horror soundtrack elements, and the second song is industrial metal inspired by ye old diss track. And the next song I'm releasing is taking influences from dark cabaret and swing metal, and I really want everyone to listen to it because I'm really proud of it. And just to be nice, here's a preview.
Judy, oh Judy, oh we don't want to be rude. You haven't worn a pair of red shoes for so many years.
And also, just like Necronomicon, just like with Necronomicon, if it gets popular enough, I will convert it from a side project to a full band. But first I want to finish the second album, the Nightmare album. Like once that's released, I want to see how popular it has gotten and if there's enough listeners to it. And if there's enough demand for it, I will make it possible. But I'm also writing them in the way that they should be plausible to play live. I even start working on guitar tablature ahead of time. Speaking of, if you love what you hear so far, then head over to the Farewell to Flesh YouTube channel. There are a couple of lyric videos there already. And then later I will work on tablature playthrough videos, so you get to play along if you love those songs. I will also release the full tablature for all the songs as bonus material when I set up the Bandcamp for the album. And then eventually I will do a TikTok and Instagram account, and maybe I'll do a little social experiment to see if I can make it popular on those platforms. Who knows? But right now I feel comfortable just working on writing the songs in the album and focusing on the YouTube channel. Anyway, my voice is getting tired and I need to rest, so if you love what you're hearing, go and support it and listen to it, enjoy life while you can, and I'm gonna go drink water, so bye! I forgot to mention something. Hello, this is how I dress casually when I'm not filming. This is a little bonus if you watched all the way to the end. I am probably gonna start streaming on Twitch. I'm mostly gonna do gaming streams, but I'm probably also gonna do music making streams and song practice streams. So if you want to see how I write songs live or see how I practice guitar, go follow it. I'm not gonna start streaming immediately, it will be after a week or so after this video goes live. So if you want to be one of the first followers, now's your chance. Now the video is actually over.